This is a review of the 2025 Hyundai Sonata. It is a midsize sedan from Hyundai that slots above the Elantra, and it competes with other midsize sedans such as the Toyota Camry and Hyundai Accord. For 2024, Hyundai refreshed this Sonata with some interior and exterior styling, as well as some updated technology inside. It has some gas powertrains and hybrid powertrains to choose from. For our test program, we bought the 2025 Hyundai Sonata SEL Convenience. The base price was $30,800. We added some options for $755, and with a destination of $1,150, the total came to $32,705. The final assembly point of this Sonata is in Ulsan, Korea. We love that this refresh still comes standard with a bunch of active safety features, and the coupe-like styling of the Sonata remains, and this refresh also comes with new styling. Like in the front, it has a bit more of LED lighting going across the front, and it's less of that catfish-like smile than the pre-refresh version had. With this refresh, the 1.6-liter turbo motor is gone, but there are three powertrain options to choose from. So in our version, we have the 2.5-liter four-cylinder mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, putting out 191 horsepower. The hybrid is a 2-liter hybrid that puts out 192 horsepower, and it's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Or you can get the sportier N-Line variant, which is a 2.5-liter turbo mated to an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, and that puts out 290 horsepower. For the three engine combinations, EPA estimates put the combined mileage for the 2.5-liter four-cylinder at 29 miles per gallon. The N-Line version gets 27 miles per gallon combined, and the hybrid is 47 miles per gallon combined. And rear styling is also improved, as there's some new LEDs kind of in the shape of H for Hyundai. So overall, this Sonata is for the buyer who wants to get a mid-sized sedan like the Toyota Camry or Honda Accord, but wants a little bit more futuristic styling. I personally love the coupe-like styling, but when you get inside, it is really a sedan drop down and in experience, and the coupe-like styling also makes it a little bit more difficult where you have to get your head out of the way. So overall, it's just something that comes with the territory of buying a sedan, maybe a little bit more so with the Sonata because of how low the roof is, but nothing out of the ordinary. When you get in, the driving position is actually quite good, and most testers found a pretty good fit with all the adjustments. So again, you should try out the car for yourself to see if that works. It was good for me. The one thing that many testers noted is that the top of the steering wheel blocks out the instrument cluster. So that's something to make note of. But overall, it's pretty comfortable in here. The seats are comfortable. There's good bolster support. Some testers noted that it was firm, but overall, it was more of a firm but supportive type vibe from the interior. One part that I love about this is it brings this here. It's like a little pad where you can rest your hand. Once you're inside, you're greeted with this fit and finish that is pretty good. It is, I mean, it's basic, it's on par with the Camry, but it looks good, and it's notable how well constructed everything is. Like, the build quality really seems nice. The switchgear is high quality. The knobs have a high quality feel to them. That part is great, but the downside, and a few testers noted this in our logbook, is just how boring it is. It's kind of monotone, and there's nothing special about it. For infotainment, there's this one long screen across almost half of the vehicle inside. It's actually two 12.3-inch screens, one for your instrument cluster in front of you, and then the other one for a central display of all the actual infotainment features of the vehicle. And talking about infotainment, it's very much like other Hyundais we've seen. So at this point, it's pretty easy to get used to. The screen is responsive, and it is pretty logically laid out. So you have a pretty obvious path to whatever you want to look at here. In your main screen, you have a map, you can connect your phone, you have your media, or you can reset the menu order and customize it however you want. It really is a pretty good infotainment system overall. And hooray, physical buttons are back. So we actually have true knobs for the volume and the tuning and home and map. Seeking the track, you can set a favorite there as you can in all the other Hyundais. The climate control is another knob here. even though some of the rest of the functionality is in a touchscreen below. But overall, this is much better than some other previous Hyundais that we've seen, so it's an improvement for sure. The gear selector is also improved. It's much better than the buttons were before because it's mounted on the column here. But for me personally, and I think it depends on what you like, I think it's backwards because you turn it in whatever direction you want the car to go. So you rotate it forward for drive, rotate it in reverse for reverse. However, that's the opposite of what is pretty typical for a gear selector. So it's taken me some getting used to across these new Hyundais that we've had. What's nice is that our SEL convenience came with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And talking further about usability, the steering wheel controls are quite good. They're also physical buttons and they're logically laid out. So for $32,000, you get this modern, futuristic, sleek car, but the controls and everything are still easy to use. It's not over the top. Everything on the screen is nicely laid out. It's responsive, it's customizable, and it's logical. You have physical buttons. You still have physical controls and knobs. So you're getting a very futuristic experience while also a very easy to adapt to experience as well. So you're getting a nice futuristic vehicle without sacrificing ease of use like you have to in many modern cars. The in-cabin storage in this car is pretty unremarkable. It's not good, it's not bad, but there's decent space for your phone, for your wallet, for your keys. You have a little wallet cubby here. You have ample space in the center console. The one thing that multiple testers noted was just how narrow the door pocket is. You could barely even get a water bottle in here. It's practically useless. But overall, there's decent space. Nothing amazing, but it's pretty unremarkable. Access to the second row is much like the first, with the addition of, once again, the styling that we talked about. When you get in, you really have to watch and drop down and in to move your head out of the way of this coupe-like slant back here. Once you're in, it's pretty comfortable. And I mean, despite how flat the cushion is, overall, it does have ample legroom, and my knees aren't really pushed up that high. As far as headroom, I mean, I think that really depends on your height. I'm not terribly tall, and I'm very close to this room here, so headroom is compromised a little bit. When I took this home, I have 2 child seats, and they fit very well in here. I mean, I could strap in the 2 child seats here, and then 2 adults could sit in front of them quite comfortably. So that's good. But again, getting the kids in, leaning down, it's a little bit more difficult, but that's more of a sedan problem and not necessarily a downside of the Sonata specifically. So trunk space in this Sonata is impressive. I mean, that's a pretty big trunk. And even better is if you need more space, you just fold down the rear seats like this, and there you have it. You have a pass-through on both sides. As far as driving the car goes, most testers noted that the car feels quite refined. It accelerates smoothly, it shifts nicely. I mean, it is a pretty good experience being in it and driving it. Off the line, it's responsive. There's no lag like you see in a lot of modern cars. And then one major improvement in this refresh is the ride. This ride is incredible. I think probably the best in the class, although the test will reveal what actually comes out on top. But the bump absorption is fantastic. I mean, even bigger bumps, it absorbs like they're not even there. So this is a comfortable car. And despite that, it still handles relatively well. You know, it's not a complete sports car. You might have to get the N-Line for that. And overall, this car is pretty quiet. Cabin noise is pretty muted. It's a nice experience being in here. Engine noise is quiet and it has a mostly good sound until you get on it. Then the engine sounds a little bit raspy and buzzy, but under most normal driving conditions, it's a pretty quiet experience being in this cabin. We love that the Sonata comes standard with a bunch of active safety and driver assistance features, and these include automatic emergency braking, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic warning, lane keeping assistance, adaptive cruise control, and highway driving assist. The Sonata also has exit assist to prevent passengers from opening the door into oncoming traffic or a cyclist, and rear occupant alert, which notifies the driver if a child is left unattended in the car. And visibility is pretty good in the Sonata as well. The A-pillars are thin, so you really don't have much obstruction when you're looking that way. To the rear, the pillars back there are a little bit obstructed, but nothing out of the ordinary for this class. Overall, this is a welcomed refresh. It brought a smoother ride, more refined powertrains, and arguably better styling. Although sedan sales are slumping and competitors aren't really taking much risk, Hyundai went out on a limb and introduced some futuristic styling, and I think it paid off. This is a great car. If you want a midsize sedan, most of them are a good choice, but if you want to deviate from the typical Camry or Accord, this Sonata is a great choice for you. We think the best version to get is the SEL Convenience because it brings welcomed options such as adaptive cruise control, heated front seats, heated mirrors, and the wireless charging pad. For more on our test results and other midsize sedans, visit consumerreports.org.